We're tracking on Wion at this hour in a major boost to pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong. US President Donald Trump has signed two important bills backing human rights in the semi-autonomous region that is under Chinese control. Now, Beijing, for its part, has vowed to retaliate. Now, Trump has said that he has signed these bills out of respect for President Xi Jinping and China and also for the people of Hong Kong. He also has added that he hopes that the leaders and the representatives of China and Hong Kong will be able to amicably settle their differences. Now, the first bill and the more crucial one, called the Human Rights and Democratic Act, will require Washington to annually confirm that Hong Kong's special freedoms are being maintained by Beijing. A failure to do so could in fact result in the withdrawal of the city's special trade status, rejecting Hong Kong's extradition bill, which triggered the protest in the first place. The bill states that while Hong Kong is a part of China, it is a separate legal and economic system. Now, the city's special status ensures that it is not subjected to US tariffs that are levied on goods that are imported from mainland China. Not only that, the bill also says that Hong Kong's residents who have been arrested for participating in non-violent protests should be allowed to obtain US visas. Now, the second bill bans the export of crowd control ammunitions, including the likes of tear gas, amongst other things, that were used by the riot police in Hong Kong. Now, the bills are likely to escalate tensions between the United States and China, who have been involved in negotiations to try and end a trade war. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by our correspondent, Grace Lee, who is joining us live from Hong Kong. Good morning to you, Grace. Now, this, of course, is a very significant development that comes in the wake of what is unfolding in Hong Kong. Now, give us a sense as to how these two bills that have now been signed into law have been received in Hong Kong.
Well, obviously, the protesters here are overjoyed by the fact that they're getting the backing of the U.S. This is something that they've been wanting for a very long time. But what's more is that, you know, experts say that the contents of these two bills, especially the U.S. being able to sanction anybody in Hong Kong or potentially call off that special trade status that Hong Kong enjoys with the U.S., those are all things that the U.S. could potentially do even without those bills. So what this really is a show of support, bipartisan support towards Hong Kong's protest movement. And this also comes, of course, after Hong Kong's local elections, where they saw a huge wave for the pro-democracy movement here. And so all of these things just point to the mounting kind of backing that the Hong Kong protesters are enjoying from their own kind of population here, but also from the international community. These are all very encouraging signs for them. I'm actually just outside of Polytechnic University at the moment, where some protesters are still holed up here. This is going to be good news for them as well, but the ongoing siege has been going on for about 11 days now, and police have just entered the building, and we're trying to figure out what's happening here at the moment.
Right. Now, what is interesting, Grace, if we were to look at some of the fine print of the bill that's now been signed into an act by the U.S. President, it's called the Hong Kong Human Rights Act. Now, it states that the United States will carry out an annual review to see for itself that the autonomy of the city of Hong Kong is not eroded by China. How is this being viewed by Beijing? Because quite clearly, Beijing would see this as U.S. interference in one of its specially administered regions.
Yes, absolutely. A very harsh response from Beijing today, accusing the U.S. of interfering with its internal affairs. Of course, that's something they've been saying even before the U.S. Signed this bill, before President Trump even put the pen to paper. So the fact that Trump has gone ahead with this has angered them even so much more than they already have been. But the fact of the matter is that the bills had been getting so much bipartisan support that even if Donald Trump didn't sign it, there was potential for lawmakers to override his decision and veto that. So it seems like Donald Trump didn't really have a choice when it came to signing this bill. And of course, tensions are mounting with the U.S.-China trade war. So this doesn't really come at a good time for U.S.-China relations. But nonetheless, it seems like the U.S. government is standing behind the people of Hong Kong at the moment.
Absolutely, and you said that you are the Polytechnic University in Hong Kong. We just witnessed these local council elections in Hong Kong where the people had a say and pro-democracy groups managed to win a resounding majority there. Now, with this election having taken place, are we expecting to see a difference in terms of the protests that have been happening pretty much every weekend for the last 6 months in Hong Kong?
Well, of course, people are back on the streets. We saw a large group of people coming the night after the elections. A lot of them had come out to say that we haven't forgotten about the people that are still stuck inside of PolyU. A lone protester came out last night from inside PolyU to talk to the press and say that there are still about 20 people who are hiding from the police presence and from any medical personnel that have been entering the ground, saying that they just don't trust the people who are coming to them. They're hoping that the police can call off the cordon in this area, call off the siege, and allow these protesters to come out with their heads held high. The situation inside seems to be deteriorating quite fast. According to university officials, it's become a health hazard inside. There's leftover food everywhere with maggots. There is chemicals that students and protesters had been using to create chemical weapons. All these things that just call for the situation to end as soon as possible, because people are worried about the mental and physical state of the protesters who are potentially left inside there. It's still not clear how many are inside, but police are sweeping the area right now to try and find whoever's left.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Grace Lee, for joining us and getting us all those insights. We'll, of course, come back to you as more details emerge in this story.